When Honor announced the Honor 20 series smartphones in London, the Honor 20 and Honor 20 Pro had been the talk of the town for days. Their quad-rear cameras, flagship-grade processors, and punch-hole displays were enough to impress many. The cheaper Honor 20 Lite, however, did not receive much attention then. So, was this an underdog ignored by many, or was it not just worth the hype? Let's find out. Like with the previous Honor smartphones, the 20 Lite features a gradient color back. The one I have right now is the phantom red color, which looks pleasing. One thing you need to know is the back is made of plastic and not glass, which is the reason it feels light on the hands. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with its form factor. It rightly fits on my hand and has an even weight distribution. Even the buttons are tactile and placed at a reachable position. So I have nothing much to complain on the design front. Talking about the display, the phone retains a 6.21-inch IPS panel which comes with narrow bezels with a U-shaped tiny notch on the top. Even the chin is thin here. Thinner than most of the competitors out there, I would add. While placing it alongside the Galaxy A50, you can easily notice the difference. However, gone is the notification LED, which is close to extinction on smartphones these days. Continuing with the display, the screen here comes with Full HD resolution on board. So while viewing the contents, the screen looks sharp as expected. The colors also look quite pleasant here. It's not quite on the level of the OLED panels, but still looks noteworthy among the mid-rangers. And side by side with the A50, I prefer the display on the A50. Let's head on to the cameras now. And like with every other mid-range smartphone in the market, this one too has a triple camera setup at the back. There's a 24-megapixel primary lens which comes alongside an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle shooter and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. And all of these cameras are said to be AI-powered. Talking about the photos from the 24-megapixel camera, I am fairly satisfied with the shots it captures. The images pack quite a lot of details, so they look sufficiently sharp. But sometimes the images are overexposed. I also noticed the phone overprocessing the images, due to which colors were unnatural at times. However, while comparing it with the A50, I like the shots from the Honor 20 Lite because of the sharpness. The colors were slightly better from the A50 though. Switching to the wide angle, you can extend the field of view up to 120 degrees. The images, as you can see here, look decent, but it lacks details. And while comparing it with the Galaxy A50, I noticed a larger field of view and better details in the shots from the A50. But what I really liked about the Honor 20 Lite was that the colors in the images didn't shift while switching into the wide-angle mode from normal mode, which happens extensively on the A50. The third 2-megapixel lens gathers the depth information while taking portrait images. And portrait images look okay at best. There is edge detection issue on most of the portrait images and the blurring does not look natural. Maybe Honor will fix that in its software update, but until that happens, you will have to live with this. Night mode feature is also getting quite popular these days, and to address that, Honor has included a night mode feature in this device too. With this feature, it decreases the shutter speed up to 4 seconds and takes a long exposure shot. And while capturing low-light images using this feature, the subject brightens up quite a bit and there seem to have a little more detail in it. So to me, it has come in quite handy while taking snaps in low-light scenarios. Apart from that, you get tons of features like slow-mo, time-lapse, and AR if you do some digging in. Talking about the selfies, the 32-megapixel does not disappoint. It captures amazing selfies with great facial details. But the phone tends to overdo with the skin, which looks quite unnatural at times. But most of the times they look fairly good. Although the portrait images are due to software processing, they do look good enough. But if you care about the edge detection, it's still not perfect in that respect, but usable most of the times. The portrait mode is also playful here, as you can get various portrait lighting effects. Talking about the videos, you don't get 4K video recording in here, and neither do you get any kind of stabilization, and also the colors in videos are just about okay. So I would say that in the video department, the cameras are just average. Now onto the performance, you get the Kirin 710 in here, which we have seen on so many Honor and Huawei smartphones in a span of 6 months. Now Kirin 710 is a decent processor comparable with the Snapdragon 660, but over the course of 6 months we have seen better SoCs from Qualcomm. You get Snapdragon 675 on the Redmi Note 7 Pro and Realme 3 Pro at more or less similar pricing. I am not trying to bash Honor or Kirin 710 here, but I guess it's reasonable to demand an upgrade while going from its predecessor, the Honor 10 Lite. Don't get me wrong, the Kirin 710 is not a bad processor. It's actually a decent performer and can handle most people's day-to-day tasks pretty easily. Multitasking is also fairly good with 4GB of RAM on board. But it's the gaming part that Kirin 710 lags behind in the competition. On my test, heavy games did not run quite smoothly on highest of the settings. PUBG is playable at medium settings by default, which wasn't smooth the way I expected. So if you are into gaming, you should opt for the Snapdragon 675 powered phones. And who can forget the Pocophone F1 with Snapdragon 845, which is still available. You can get that too. Talking about the storage, you get 128GB on this one, which should suffice the needs of many. And this is where the Honor 20 Lite stands out because other phones in similar price range offer only 64GB. Plus, if you wish to expand it further, you can even use the SD card slot. Now, the software. The phone runs on Android 9 Pie with the custom skin EMUI 9.0.1 on top, and with Huawei's UI, you do get a ton of bloatware and a number of redundant apps. Nonetheless, you can uninstall majority of them. But apart from that, the UI is pretty much likable. It's well optimized and navigating through the UI is also pretty smooth. On top of that, most of the settings are customizable, so you can easily tune it into your liking. But what's concerning here is the software update. Huawei has been enlisted in the US government's entity list, and Honor being the sub-brand of Huawei, we don't have any other option than to wait and see what happens next. Now let's talk about the battery. The phone comes with a 3400 mAh battery, which sounds quite underwhelming. However, the EMUI optimization is great, so I got around 6 hours of screen on time. Also, the screen on time is based on my heavy usage that includes 2 hours of social media, 2 hours of watching videos, and an hour of gaming. The phone comes with a 10-watt charger out of the box, which takes exactly 1 hour and 56 minutes to get it fully charged. I even used an 18-watt fast charger to charge the device, but there wasn't any improvement in the charging pace, so there's that. Other things like the fingerprint sensor, like in all Honor phones, is fast and accurate. It works 9 out of 10 times, except for times when you have wet or greasy hands. Face unlock is fast too and is done via the front camera. About the Wi-Fi though, you don't get Wi-Fi AC in here, so you won't be able to connect to 5 GHz network. And if I remember correctly, it was not there in the Honor 8X as well. Other things like audio quality is fairly loud and call quality is good too. So I think the Honor 20 Lite is a fairly good mid-range phone for the price being asked. There is nothing that bugs me about this phone. Everything is fine except for the fact that they could have gone with a newer and faster processor. And even the inclusion of a faster charging feature and USB-C would have made it more convincing. And not to forget, you do have plenty of other options like the Galaxy A50, the Galaxy M40 or the Pocophone F1. And if the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro are available in your region, then you have even more options. So in the end, I will leave it up to you guys. So that was all for the review of the Honor 20 Lite. We are currently running a Vivo Y17 giveaway on our Facebook page, so make sure you check that out from the description below. Also, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. I am Pratima Adhikari and thank you for watching.